Welcome back, fellow Horror Night fans and Universal fans alike. Welcome back to another Halloween Horror World discussion video, where today we're going to be talking about fan fiction. Yeah, we're going to be talking about fan fiction, though it's not what you think. Most of the time the word is used for fans that come up with their own fiction or stories based around IPs that they really enjoy. Say Doctor Who, in this case we'll talk about horror, so like things like Friday the 13th, their own characters and stories involving the characters from those universes. But we're going to be separating that term of fan fiction for a completely different one. So what do I mean by fan fiction? Well, it has a lot more to do with the creative directors of both events than it does really for the fans. Allow me to explain. When you've done almost every marketable horror movie under the sun, including their sequels, where do you go? When you've amazed something, I'm going to trademark that, when you've turned a lot of the major marketable horror IPs into mazes, where do you go? Barring original concepts, barring that, where do you go? Well, it wasn't until last year that the idea popped into my head, and it's thanks to John Murdy, the creative director of Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood, that it kind of brought an idea. Now, what John and the creative team did, and they did really well because it was awesome, was they took a familiar IP, the same universe, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original Tobe Hooper film, in that universe, not the remake universe, and instead of going with the traditional, the very unusual sequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they created their own sequel. They envisioned a brand new story of what happens right after the original film, with their own kind of twist on some familiar characters, but their own ideas. And this is where I come with that term fan fiction, because John and Chris and everyone in both parks are all fans of these movies. So to bring in new content to Halloween Horror Nights, to breathe life into IPs that have been done a million times, they create their own stories, and this is brilliant. This is a great idea for the parks, and this renews interest with a lot of these really famous horror IPs, such as Friday the 13th, Halloween, almost said Jaws for some reason there, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre, for example, Blood Brothers from last year. It was great. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I knew the characters were going to be in there. Obviously, Leatherface is going to be there, the Sawyer family will be spread out through, Chop Top made an appearance as well. So, I mean, kind of taking those characters and placing them into a new story, it breathes life into the new, into the maze. It brings a new kind of experience for the guests, and I think this is such a great idea. Me being a huge fan of Halloween, you can't really tell, can you? And especially my colleague John, who used to run Psycho Massacre Films, and we love that IP. But after Halloween and then Halloween 2, I mean, I guess you could go into some of the major ones like H2O or, God forbid, the remakes. But you could do something with Michael Myers. Heck, we're getting a new film that's just confirmed for 2018. You could do something original with that character. That's the beauty of these characters like Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason. They're not stagnated to be only for their own designated sequels. I mean, a lot of these sequels, like Halloween, had quite a few references to Halloween 4, Halloween 5, kind of smooshed the life and crimes of Michael Myers, though primarily that maze was based on the original film, with a few concepts from the occurring films afterwards. Those were in those mazes. But Blood Brothers sets a standard that you can do anything with these characters. Heck, if they use this concept again, I mean, you could do some amazing stories. You can set some your own sets. That's the beauty of this. Because Horror Nights is, I'd say, about 60% sets with the maze, and then sound effects, that sort of thing, and then actors. A lot of those are sets, so you can set where you want. Heck, you could do a snow-encrusted Camp Crystal Lake, which, oh my god, I would love to see, at least in a movie. But in a maze, that would be such an unusual environment. Putting Jason in a different weather pattern, well, I say weather pattern, but you put him in snow, no one's seen that before. That would be really, really cool. So what John and Chris have done, have taken the idea of the original concept maze, so original idea, but they've combined it with horror IPs, and I think this will work for the future of Horror Nights, to create that longevity, to create that newness. It's not even a word, but that new feeling when you go into a maze. I mean, I've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I've seen the majority of them. I admit there are a few I've missed out, but I've seen the original and I've seen the sequel to the original film. I didn't know what to expect when I walked through there. All I knew was that the Sawyer family were present and that there was a tunnel going to one place to another. The really cool idea is that they brought in Leatherface's bedroom, which no one had seen before, but they had envisioned an original idea for that. That whole bedroom set, that's not taken from a movie. That's them creating something new for this IP. And I think this will breathe life, vice versa, into movies, because if they do this in a live attraction like Horror Nights, they can do it in the movies. They can take these ideas and say, well, look, it works successfully in a live event. Why can't we do this in movies? A lot of people's problems with a lot of horror movies now is they're rehash. We've seen it before. But you do something totally different with these characters. You've got really good fan fiction there. And both sides can use this. For guests and horror fans, fellow horror fans like myself and that, we'd love to see something new like that. We'd love to go see, I don't know, Freddy in an asylum, which they did. That's a cool idea. And we've not really seen that too much in the movies. We've seen concepts of it, but we've never seen that done as a full-blown maze. So, in my opinion, I think this is a great way to go. And I applaud John and the creative team for doing something original, especially with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because we've been chased so many years by Leatherface and the other characters, and that it's cool to see something new. So those are just my thoughts on what I'm terming fan fiction. Now you can come up with a totally different name yourselves, but I feel it's fitting. John and Chris, or Michello and his staff, are all fans of these, and they're creating new fiction for these famous characters, and I'd love to see more of it because it works really well, especially Halloween. No bias there, but also Friday the 13th. You could do it with Chucky, you could do it with so many characters. So those are just my thoughts. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have your own thoughts on this subject, please feel free to comment below. I love reading you guys' comments, and I do try to reply whenever I can. Again, I love talking to the rest of the Horror Nights community. That's why I started these videos, because you guys are awesome to talk to. It's great to kind of geek out about this. So I hope you guys feel like I have enjoyed these videos, and until the next time, please feel free to like and subscribe. Until the next time, this is Crazy Englishman signing off.